Hello there. So today I want to talk about racism, bigotry, prejudices, whatever it is, these sorts of things. I think this is important to understand. I think when people talk about the past, they talk in a kind of holier than thou attitude a lot of the times, where it's like, here are things that happened in the past from people out there that were like people that did really good work, presidents and different sorts of things, and they would say these founding fathers and all these people were just a bunch of racists. Like, I think there's something wrong here when you talk about them like that. There are good people that do really good things, but these good people also do bad things. This is just a rule. There are people out there, as a rule, they have their bigotry, they have their things they are intolerant to, regardless. And I think that's a more accurate way to actually talk about these things. When I hear people talking about the history of the presidents, they say, "Well, yeah, this thing happened with these presidents, and they were a bunch of, and there was this racist. Look at the racism there. Look, this, they're the way they're treating this Asian or this black or this Muslim or whatever it is. They're just a bunch of racists. Like, is it that they're a bunch of racists? Maybe yes, maybe no. Is that really the problem at hand? Let's say we get rid of the racism. Has the underlying problem been taken care of? The problem of racism, yes. That there is a problem there that was taken care of. I agree. Was that the underlying problem though? Is this appropriate to be talking about it like this? I think the appropriate way to talk about it is really based off the underlying problem at hand. If we're not going to address the underlying problem at hand, then the problem is going to keep coming up in one form or another. It could be racism, it could be sexism, it could be religious, it could be whatever it is, all different sorts of things. It could be political. These days we have a lot of political bigotry going on against intolerance from both sides. There's intolerance on the right to the left and left to the right. Politically speaking, I've seen it firsthand, and I've seen it. You see it all over the internet. It's alive and well. This bigotry, this intolerance, and all that stuff. Uh, is this better? Is maybe the way things are because they're not developed there to a place where it's like owning slaves or something. Maybe it's not as bad as that, but is the mind frame on it this is the underlying problem there for this? That's the question, and I think it is. I think it's fair to say if you go back in the past, you talk about things historically speaking, it might be better to say, here's some bigotry from back then, here's some bigotry today, some intolerant things going on back then and today, and we're not necessarily better. It's just different, and we have this underlying issue still. It's never gone away. We still have these underlying issues of being bigoted, being intolerant towards other people's views, whether they're religious, whether they're political, whether they are about people you're not necessarily adapted to or comfortable with their different culture things going on or whatever it is. People's lifestyles, things that make you feel weird. Like people have these sorts of things all over the place. It comes in all different sizes, shapes, and forms. And the idea that it's just gone, racism is gone, sexism is gone, all that stuff. I mean, the left talks about it as if it's not gone. I believe in a lot of ways. Like throughout my life, I don't really see this stuff. That's the truth. I see. I grew up around people like this of all sorts of races and whatever, and I never had a problem. Never my whole life. I never heard a problem my whole life. I never anything. I hear this stuff like on the internet. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I've yet to really ever experience. I've yet to meet a single person that actually would tell me they don't like someone because of their race. They think women are less because they're women. Like, I'm not. I'm hearing something to that extent from both sides. Like, guys are pigs. You hear that from. I've heard that from girls, and I've heard girls say things. I've heard guys say things about girls that are bad too. Girls are whatever they are, and people just say not nice things about each other. This is a reality. I don't hear where it's like one side over the other side, or either side is really better. There's differences, different things going on, different forms of intolerance. People have this. This is a part of reality, and we need to address where it's a problem. So if we have racism, that's a form of intolerance. Let's get rid of that. That's a problem we need to get rid of. Good. Now let's try also in general getting rid of all the bigotries, all the intolerant things out there that we should not be intolerant to. For example, let's say someone is a Jew. They should not necessarily be intolerant to Christians, or vice versa. Christians should be intolerant to Jews, or Muslims, or whatever it is, unless they're doing something that's hurting them, or there's something doing something immoral, doing something bad. So there's times and places for when to be intolerant and when to not be intolerant. I'm not going to be tolerating behavior that's immoral and evil, and I don't think we should. But when it's behavior that's not immoral, not evil, and it's, let's say, neutral behavior or something that's perfectly fine, someone that it's none of your business, something that you shouldn't be viewing in a bad way, your behavior that's judging these people in the negative light shouldn't be tolerated. These people should be treated fairly and justly and rightfully so. They should give you respect as you should give them respect and all that stuff. And like, for example, there are atheists out there. I've heard this for years on end. Atheists would say, we demand, you have to earn my respect. If you're not gonna earn my respect, I'm not gonna give you respect. I will not tolerate that behavior. If you're going to be disrespectful to me because I haven't earned it, I haven't earned you to respect me, and you're just not gonna respect me, you're gonna make fun of me and insult me and be disrespectful to me, I don't think this is behavior I should tolerate. So there's behavior you shouldn't tolerate, and then there's behavior you should tolerate, and then there's things you should never not tolerate. You should never be intolerant to. You should never be bigoted towards or anything racist, whatever it is. But we got to get to the bottom line issue here and really care about that bottom line issue about being intolerant towards whatever it is, towards whatever it may be that's necessary. We need to sort all this out. This is very complicated. It's very long. It's a whole long thing. But like someone's political views, if they're moral political views and you can describe them objectively, here's how they're moral, here's what's good about them, they should be tolerated, they should be promoted. But if there's something out there that I would argue, here's a political view that's immoral, we shouldn't tolerate that because we can describe objectively, here's how it's actually immoral. And this is a problem. And we can't allow this to be a part of our society. We need to be against this as a society because it's immoral, because it's a bad thing. So we got to actually, I think we'd be better off getting rid of this language of racism and sexism and all that stuff and talk about more things like, is this a thing that should be tolerated or not tolerated? Because once you're saying something is sexist, let's say the thing is justified. Let's say the thing is right. Let's say a woman is behaving in such a way that's bad and shouldn't be tolerated. And then the other side, whoever's on that side of the woman is going to say, you're just being a sexist because she's a woman. Like, maybe I'm just not tolerating her behavior or whatever it is that she's forwarding here because I think it's a bad thing. And maybe it's something we shouldn't be tolerating. And that could be fair. That could be right. And your language about this woman, oh, it's because it's sexism and all that stuff, it's like, that's not the issue here. The issue here is whether or not the thing should be tolerated or not. And that's what really matters. That's what we have to go through, sorting out the things we should tolerate and things we shouldn't tolerate. Anyhow, all the best. Like and subscribe, share, join me on my Facebook group, America and Values. All the best. Thanks for watching.